Okay, we'll start the meeting. Welcome to the Addison Township Board meeting. Today is September 21st, 2020. It's 6. We're holding the meeting virtually. We'll stand for the pledge right now. I have a little flag here, so everybody can stand with it. You ready? Pledge allegiance
to the flag, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
liberty
and justice for all.
Do you have any Jacob?
Yeah. Thank you, God, for this great day, for blessing our township. Help lead us into more prosperous times. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, now let's start the meeting. Roll call, please.
Yes. Eric Sant.
Here.
Linda Garrick.
She's muted.
I see her name, but she's not on yet. Joe King. Jacob Newby.
Here.
Lori Fisher.
Here.
Bennett present. Supervisor Pearson.
Here. We're just see Linda Garrett on here, and we did get confirmation from Joel. I'm just waiting for Linda. I see her mic is on mute.
Yes, she might be hooking up yet. Joel is having trouble hearing us. Could somebody text Joel, because I'm recording on the meeting? Maybe he could try from his phone to join the meeting if he's having issues on the computer. I'll have to turn the computer off, though.
Oh, we're good.
I believe can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, Linda, you're good. Okay, you're good. Joel?
So we have, who are we missing? Joel, just Joel can't answer yet, right?
Joel's having audio problems. He says he can't hear us.
Yeah, I've called in on the phone
Yeah.
for audio.
Perfect. Okay, we're good to go.
Okay, we have roll call done. Okay, any announcements? Pauline?
No.
Department reports, as usual, are available in my office. Come in and request them. Get up to you. Petitions? Any petitions? Pauline?
No.
Order of business. Approval of the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll support.
We have support from Lori Fisher and a motion by Pauline Bennett. Anybody have any comments?
I'm not sure how this goes. So are we talking about the petition for the length of life?
We'll get to yours in a minute.
Okay.
That's item number 2.
There started to be a lot of feedback. A lot of us should mute ourselves.
Yeah, keep them muted until you want to say something, okay? Okay, so approval of the agenda, we have the motion. If there's any other comment from the board members, not hearing any, do we have a vote on that, please? Roll call.
Yes. Eric Sant. Eric Sant.
Eric?
Yes.
Linda Garrick.
Yes.
Joel King.
Aye.
Jacob Newby.
Approval? Yep.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, we'll move into the consent agenda.
Before us tonight is the consent agenda with the August 17th minutes, bills is paid for August, resolution for charitable gaming license for the Friends of the Library, approve and affirm the revised LO 4029.
Okay, does any?
I would make a motion.
Go ahead.
I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll
Okay.
support.
Second.
Okay, well, we have a motion by, is it Linda Garrick?
Yes.
We have a second by Lori Fisher. Is there any other comments from any of the board members? Not hearing any, can we have roll call on that, please?
Yes. Joel King.
Aye.
Jacob Newby.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Eric Stentz.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, it passes. Move on now to item number 2. This is the public hearing and resolution for the streetlight SAD, which is a special assessment district for Mill Mine, Main, Race, and Arch area. This is the public hearing resolution for those streets. This is one of the light districts that expired in 2019. By this action, we will have 2 hearings on this to bring you up to date. The Township Board received petitions signed by more than 50% of the record owners, constituting more than 50% of the total land area of the proposed special assessment district, requesting the amount of $67 per parcel for each of the next 5 years, including all of 2020, to cover the cost of the existing street lights and a 10% collection fee for the township. Proper notice of the hearing has been published and mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed special assessment district. Now, this is the public hearing where anybody in the public can talk. The board members will only listen. So I will open up the board meeting right now, and we'll call it 6:07 p.m. And anybody from the public who would like to speak in this special assessment district for the roads of Mill Mine, Main, Race, and Arch area, please speak if you would like, one at a time.
I'm here right now. Can anybody hear me?
And that is Diane
Yes, sir, it is.
Hurley. Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I'm not opposed necessarily to streetlights around here and the tax increase if I have to pay it, but I do not want that streetlight right there on the corner of Main and Race to be turned on. That blares into my bedroom window constantly when it's on. I live upstairs. I don't need curtains. I don't need blinds. The house is a very old home. It would not look good with that. So I just don't want that light working. And that's really all I've got to oppose and say.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to talk. I live across from
Harry Fritchie? Yes.
I live across from Lakeville Mill, so at the end of Mill Mine where there's a dramatic curve in the swamp, and it's detrimental that there's a light there. And on the corner of Arch Street and Mill Mine is also an important intersection. I have talked to several residents that would wonder about shades for those lights. I don't know if those are available or not, but there's a shade that would then direct the lighting down instead of spraying it into Diane's room, or other residents that have mentioned that. But the lighting itself, I think, is beneficial.
I don't.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak? This is the public hearing. We're here to listen. So is there anyone else who would like to speak about the lights? Okay, one more thing. Is there anyone else who would like to speak and tell us about the lights? Okay, I will then close the meeting. The meeting is closed at 6.
Hey, Bruce? Sorry.
Just 1 second.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
We close the meeting here. The lights, this is for the public. The lights are closed as far as the public comment. Now we can, I believe, discuss it amongst the board as to what your pleasure is. Does anybody on the board have a comment on this?
Was there a balance on the SAD that was collected from? Is there a current collected balance over the SAD that was expired already?
We have to ask the treasurer that. Lori Fisher, do we have a balance?
We do have a balance, and I was waiting for word back from the attorney as to the way these SVDs run is we collected last winter, and that in effect would have paid the bills for this year.
So, so why are we waiting? I guess, you know?
Why are we waiting for what?
Like, one comment I had about the, not the bolt, but I do agree with the shades, because I live on the corner of Rochester and Mill Mine. The light is extremely bright, and it definitely gets in. So, yeah, I'd like to see that included.
Well, right now, what we're talking about is, first of all, do we want the SAD on the lights? As far as the shades on the lights, and as far as if they want to put LEDs there instead of the bulb type, that all comes secondary. I mean, do we, first of all, want to do the SAD to continue the lights? Okay, that's the main thing, and that's what we're talking about right now. If we want to get a resolution forward so that we have the second hearing on it. We do hear from the public. There were several questions brought up from the public, and we do understand that. I think those are issues that we would have to contact DTE about to see if they can even do those things. But first of all, this is about the special assessment district right now. Does anybody else on the board have any comments on the special assessment district? Not hearing any. The public hearing is over, and the board, then I'd be looking for a motion to, first of all, go forward with the special assessment district and go on to the second reading.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to proceed with the special assessment district.
I'll support.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Eric Sent, and we have support from Lori Fisher. That is to move this resolution forward, and then we'll have a second hearing. So next month, there'll be another public hearing on this, so that maybe we can have some answers by that time. Maybe Lori Fisher, we'll get an answer, first of all, from the lawyer, and then maybe she can contact DTE. Maybe there is a light that has a shield on it. I suspect they probably have them. Maybe she can come back with an answer at that time for the second hearing on the lights, and maybe we'll have those answers. So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further comments at all from anyone on the board? Not hearing any, could we please have roll call, please?
Linda Garrick,
Yes.
Eric Sant,
Yes.
Jacob Newby,
Yes.
Joe King,
Aye.
Lori Fisher,
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and I would just ask Lori if she could just kind of research this and see what they say at DTE, if there's a way that we pay for this, first of all, for what the lawyer says, and if there's an extra expense, can we pay for it out of the SAD or whatever, put shields on. So maybe we'll have an answer, okay?
Bruce, I have a quick question for the residents that are on. Are these lights, does anybody know, are these LED?
No, they're all the
Not?
The only LEDs we have right now are the ones that they put up on Rochester Road, up by Annandale and stuff. Those are LED, but we do not have the LEDs here. We can, I've been approached by DTE to put them in. There is a cost, but they are much, much brighter. And I got several complaints up on Rochester Road that the LEDs were doing
You do
the,
not want LEDs.
pardon?
You do not want LEDs. They're worse than what we've got right now.
Hold on a second. This is talking through with the board right now.
I'm sorry.
Okay. This is difficult by computer here, so so just bear with us. So we will get an answer for everybody, and we'll find out. LEDs, of course, are much brighter. I certainly do agree, but they are much cheaper to operate by a lot. but we'll find out about the shields and see if that is an option. Okay, and we already had the motion and we had roll call, so we'll move on to the next item.
All right, I'm done.
But next month, we'll have a hearing on that. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 3 now. This is a request to make purchasing ordinance for a copier lease, as it's a professional service and would allow us to solicit proposals for the board to review. Our copier lease ends on November 2020. We'd like to seek proposals for other companies to make sure that we're in the ballpark. And we'd like to probably get the newest, greatest one that's faster and cheaper. Since this is a professional service, and there are only a few companies out there that allow us to get these kind of copiers, so we would like to contact the companies directly and bring it back to the board, likely in November or December, and let the board decide. And so what we need to do, though, is a motion to waive the purchasing ordinance as a limited professional service and authorize the clerk to solicit bids and propose, bring them back to the board. I'll open it up to the board. Anybody have any comments?
Supervisor, I would like the opportunity to ask the clerk, is this request 2 motions?
Typically, legal always does say to do waiving the ordinance as a separate motion. I never understood why, but yeah, if he was here, he would say yes.
All right, well, I believe that you guys know what your copy machine requirements are and whether this is good or not. I would defer to your experience and request that we waive the provision of the purchasing ordinance for sealed proposals with public notice, as it is a professional service with limited firms and no benefit.
I'll second that.
Okay, we do have a motion from Linda Garrick, and we have a second from Eric Sent. Any other comments on this from board? Not hearing any. Could we have roll call on that, please?
Yes, Jacob Newby,
Yes.
Joe King,
Aye.
Trustee Garrick,
Yes.
Eric Sant,
Yes.
Roy Fisher,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, that passes. We will now move on to item number 4. This is establish a COVID PTO bank for 2 employees.
Wait, Bruce,
Supervisor-
that has to make this next part of the motion.
Oh, you want the next one? Okay. Who wants to make the next part of the motion?
I'll make the motion to authorize the clerk's office to search firms and request proposals and bring the proposals received back to the board for review and approval.
I'll support.
Okay, any other further comment from the board? Okay, could we have roll call on that, please?
Joe King,
Aye.
Eric Sant,
Yes.
Linda Garrett,
Yes.
Jacob Newby,
Yes.
Roy Fisher,
Yes.
Bennett, yes, Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Well, that passes. Okay, now we'll move on to item number 4. This is establish a COVID PTO bank for 2 employees. As you know, this is all kind of new with this COVID stuff, and I just put together a motion here, a package together for 2 of our employees. Okay, first of all, I'd like to say that all of the employees have really stepped up to the plate, and they've all done their part. We didn't know where we were supposed to go or how to do it exactly. It was fluid with the governor. We tried to adhere to everything. And as you know, when this first came out in March, everybody was ordered to stay home and only essential workers. Well, of course, the government running, we had several essential workers, but there were a couple that went above and beyond. But there was also another incident. I had April Alberti, and I don't like to get into the medical of the whole family, but everybody, and there were a lot of people sick. April was sick, and she was sick for a week, and she used her vacation, her sick time for that. She tried to come back. Well, you know, she wanted to be part of the township staff, and she wanted to do her part. And she came back. She was sick, and during this whole thing, I had the opinion that if you even have a doubt whatsoever, go home. I did order her home. That was my responsibility, and I ordered her home to get better. And I didn't want, if it was something that would spread, then I certainly didn't want anybody else to be exposed. My feeling on this, because it was my decision, was that I would like to give her back her 38 hours of time. I'd like it in the form of a PTO, which is paid time off, and she had months. You all saw the letter. This way, it doesn't cost the township anything as far as money, and she can take that at her leisure when she talks with her supervisor, and she can either take it all once or a day at a time or whatever she would prefer. But I think that because it was my order and I sent her home, she should get the 38 hours back. Now, there's a second person, which is Robert Brd. And as you know, with the stay-at-home order for everybody had to stay home. Well, we still had government function. We still had to register people to vote. We had to register people who were running for office. We had payroll to meet. We also had bills that had to go out and had to be met. And, Bob Brd, that fell on his shoulders. He did come in, and as you can see, I think I included how many times he came in and how many trips he made. So pretty self-explanatory, and what I'm requesting is to give him 40 hours of paid time off again, and that is for the next 18 months. It doesn't cost the township anything in that sense, because of he can take those days off when we're at a slow time or after the elections or whatever his immediate supervisor wishes. There's also one part that he made many trips to the township offices, and many times he had to be here on a whim because there was somebody coming in to register for something, or a bill had to be paid or whatever. But anyways, he did, I guess, make 27 trips into the office when everybody else had the order to stay at home. And some of the other employees did come in also, but it was not to this extent. So what I was looking at is possibly giving him at least 50% or 783 miles of his travel time. And that doesn't take his time going back and forth or whatever. But I think that's a fair thing. It's $450.45 in mileage that would come out of the mileage account. And the PTO, of course, would be paid time off, and that's at a time when we're slow and it doesn't cost anything. Those are my issues, and I brought this forward, and to the board, you tell me what your pleasure is on this.
Well, I'll go first here. I think both employees really stepped up and did the right thing for the township. So I totally agree with April to give her the time off, the time back. 40. I think you said 40 hours, correct?
38 hours for April.
38 hours. I'm sorry. As far as Bob Roderick is concerned, I think he went way over or and above. He had a lot of bases to cover, and there's quite a few trips in. I agree with that. So going back, you're starting with the mileage. I definitely agree with the 50% of the the mileage. I think that's a fair compensation for the coverage that he provided to the township, and also with the time off that you suggested. Now this one is 40 hours, correct?
Correct, that's 40 hours of.
Right. So I would support both. I think I think they did a great thing. It's not the best of times, and especially with Bob, he really stepped up to cover the township, especially on a whim. It's very important that we service our people in the township. So that's my input.
Anybody else?
I'll just say that, Bruce, I like that you're giving the hours back to April. I would like the employees to feel taken care of if they think they do have COVID. I would prefer that they would stay home. So in a way, we are giving the, if you don't feel well, stay home. And as far as Bob goes, I can't say enough good things. So while I was sick, I mean, we'd be on the phone. Okay, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. I mean, he really ran with it. And there was times where I would just say, you got to go up there now. They're going to turn in their application. So he really went above and beyond what was required of him, because during COVID, he did not have to leave his home, but we actually changed his location so that he would be a critical infrastructure employee in order to do payroll, bills, election. And we had a few cemetery and I should say a few burials that we had to get through for the COVID. So I do appreciate you acknowledging what he did for the township and giving him the 40 hours and the 50% of 27 trips, because he did have more than 27, but we stopped that count at the end of May because by June, I think everybody was going in and out of the township. So it's just the 27 trips that would be fair to him, I think. So thank you very much, and thank you, board.
Anybody else have something to say from the board?
I would like the opportunity to speak. Again, I commend the supervisor for taking care of our employees. I'd also like to ask if maybe we should not include something in the future if we have to go through something like this again, where we have critical infrastructure employees that are identified, and we could have a policy in place. That being said,
I was just going to say, I did identify Bob as critical infrastructure because I could not go into the office. So it worked out this time. I guess in the future, hopefully we won't have another one. It would probably fall more to me as long as I was well. So, and then of course the treasurer also has to come in to sign the checks that we create. So I think we'll be okay in the future. We could work on that though, Linda.
Any other comments? Okay, well, what I'm looking for is for a motion to waive the COVID policy number 10 and 15B. That's for April, returning for the 38 hours, and for Bob for 40 hours for the work that
I would make a motion to establish a COVID PTO bank for April Alberti and Bob Brudvig. 40 hours for Bob Brudvig and 38 hours for April Alberti, with our thanks.
Second that.
Would we also be including the 50% mileage for 27 trips?
Yes, thank you. Yes, please amend my motion to include that. Thank you.
Thank you,
And
Linda.
I amend my second accordingly.
and not to exceed $451. Correct?
Correct.
Any further comment? Not hearing any. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes, Jacob Newby,
Yes.
Joel King,
Yes.
Trustee Garrett.
Yes.
I tricked you on that one, Linda. Eric Sen,
Yes.
Lori Fisher,
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Well, that passes. Thank you. Let's see. On to public forum. Okay, this is where you're, if there's anybody, a caller or anybody on here, you have to state your name and then state PR so that we know, and I just don't know, I'm looking on the screen here, this is gonna be a little difficult. But if anybody in the public would like to state something, please go right ahead and we'll acknowledge you.
Hi, Bruce. Can we go first?
Who is, that's Rob Dezanic?
Rob
Yes.
Gazan, I got my neighbor Dana Fredericks here with me as well.
Yes, go right ahead.
4 weeks ago, we experienced 6 hours of high caliber shooting from a residence down the street from our house. This is a highly populated area, high density. We've got the monastery down the road, and being zoned, single family suburban farm, the shooting gallery that we experienced, not just that day, but consistently, probably on a every 3 or 4 day basis in this area, is not right for this area. We would like to propose that we work with you on an ordinance to eliminate shooting galleries like this in a highly populated area. I've got some friends at the DNR. I talked to them, and while yes, you are allowed to discharge firearms on your property, you are not specifically allowed to have 10 carloads of friends come over and have a 6-hour shoot-a-thon in your backyard. The DNR legal team told me if we write the ordinance, they will stand by it and enforce it. So I'd like to see how we can work with you to come up with an ordinance like this to prevent half-day type shooting events going on again in this neighborhood. From what I understand, there were multiple phone calls to the sheriff's department, and even golfers on Copper Hills were calling, thinking that they were endangered from all the gunfire that was going on. So I'd like to open this up to you guys for discussion.
We can't discuss it. This is a public forum. This is where we. Okay, and a board member could bring that up at a later meeting. Is there anybody else in public forum who would like to speak?
Yes, I'd like to speak, Bruce. It's Dana Fredericks.
Yeah.
I live right across the street from Rob, and about a month ago, I had my grandkids over, and we're sitting out by the pool with the dog, and I've got gunfire coming from 3 directions, and it's not, I'm a hunter. I'm all for gun rights. I'm not one of these people that want to take somebody's gun. If some guy wanted to go out and sight his rifle in or do whatever, I don't have a problem with that. But when I got somebody at the end of my street, shooting 20-round magazines with 10 people with high caliber rifles all day long, it becomes very annoying. And it's not only him. There's people to the north of us. There's people to the west of us, and I assume that they must be in communication with each other, because they all join in, and I've even heard machine gun fire. My dog's afraid. The neighbors' dogs are afraid. Some of the neighbors over on Hosner have to tranquilize their dog and put them in the shower because these guys are just, they don't have any regard for anybody.
It's all day long. Yeah, it's from sun up to sundown.
So, I mean, we got to, like I say, I don't have a problem. I'm a hunter. I've shot. Anytime I've shot my gun, I call the neighbors up. I had to kill some possums out here in the yard. And I call them up and I be courteous. And I tell them I'm going to shoot the gun. I don't go out and invite 10 of my friends over to have a shootout. So I think we got to do something about it, because it's not a gun issue. It's a noise issue. So that's all I want to say. I want to get you guys and everybody going on this, because it's just a little ridiculous. It's infringing on my rights. I told my wife, I said, if we were going to sell our house and somebody came over here to look at it, they wouldn't even buy it. They would leave. So.
Okay.
Yeah, you got 3 gun ranges within 8 miles of this area. If you want to have, 10 carloads of guys come over and shoot, go to a public place. Don't be going to someone's backyard and annoying the neighborhood for the whole day.
And then the other problem I have, the Oakland County Sheriff came out, and I assume he talked to them, and they waited about 5 more minutes. They know that it's making the people in the neighborhood mad. They waited 5 minutes and started in again. So another rub it in your face kind of deal. So I hope we can get something done, just, as a view of a noise problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, we just can't comment at this time, but it can be brought up at a later date, okay? Anybody else from the public have anything that they'd like to tell the board? This is where we listen. Not hearing any, then we will close the public forum, okay? We'll go on for Addison Township board reports. I would like to thank the public, though. We do hear you. It's just that we don't we don't talk about it at this time. We'll talk about it at a later time, and you can come in and see me in my office or whatever, and we'll discuss it, okay? But at least we heard what you had to say. Okay, now we'll go on to Addison Township board reports. Anybody on the board have anything that they'd like to read about any of the boards they're on?
Hazardous, the No Haz group is having a collection event this Saturday. I believe the tickets are on Eventbrite. You can find out more at the Oakland County page, but it's to dispose of your hazardous materials and all that. So it'll be happening, I think, it's usually 8 to 2, but it'll be at the Pontiac, the county, I forgot what it's called, the center of the county, county offices. And that's where the collection event's going to be in Pontiac.
Okay. Anybody else?
I was just going to let the board know that I'm applying for different grants to get some more revenue in for the elections, because between COVID and the amount of voters that we're going to have, it is going to probably be higher than what we anticipated. Also, I wanted just to say that MTA has really kept everyone informed about COVID rules and regs, and I really think they did a great job, and most of them worked from home during the whole time. So it can be done if we're prepared for it. So that's it.
Okay, so we'll move on to any legal communications.
No.
Okay, we'll move on now to the supervisor report. I just have a couple things here. I'll be very quick. The lighting district over on Monadic, we reached out to them again, and nobody took the petition around to sign up again for another special assessment district on Monadic. But I just want to let everybody know that expired in 2019. Our legal is thinking that the township is going to have to pay for the remaining months until those are removed. So we will have to contact DTE, and also there is a fee for shutting these lights off, and that probably will come back to the board and be taken out of the general fund, because the lights have to be disconnected and the poles have to be removed. I just want everybody to know that that's part of that SAD. I don't know how long those lights have been there. It's been a long time, but it looks like it's going to fall on our shoulders to get them disconnected and get the poles taken out. Okay, so I just was bringing that up so that you would know that, and I'm sure that the treasurer is probably going to have to work on that with DTE to figure out how we're going to disconnect them so there won't be any more bills. As you know, we went through this on, I think it was Annandale and Peninsula, but both of those never renewed either. So I just want everybody to know that on Hosner Road, north of Oakwood, that was all re-graveled by the road commission, and it's a nice new gravel up there north of Kingsbury School. And Mack Road was all re-graveled too, and chloride and everything, and that's been done. I will bring up the issue about the guns, shooting. This is going to have to be probably taken up very carefully, because as you know, people in Addison Township love their guns and they love their hunting. And I know that shooting with large groups all afternoon is very annoying to people. So there's one part that's really annoying when you have a bunch of people who bring all their relatives over and everything, and they shoot buckets and buckets of guns. And then there's also, we have a fine line that we want to make sure that the people who do out here, who do like to shoot their guns once in a while, are able to do that. I think it's important that we kind of thread the needle on this one. And I do understand when you have large groups at a residential area, that is something maybe we could bring up. But I don't want to step on the toes of people who do have a suburban farm and have a little bit of a target range or whatever, and they go out and plink once in a while. So I just wanted to bring that up, and so maybe we can do that successfully. I don't know, but that's a very touchy issue. So many years ago, if you remember, the board room was completely packed to the gill when somebody brought up the idea that they wanted to stop hunting in Addison Township or limit it. And so I just want to remind everybody that this is something that we really, really have to work on. It's got to be very carefully done. So other than that, I don't have anything else to say. All I'll say is our next meeting will be October 19th, 6 o'clock. And it seems like, I hope that we did pretty good on this computer. As you know, I'm in remedial classes when it comes to computers. So maybe I'll take a couple more classes or whatever. But other than that, I'm looking for a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll make a motion.
And we have a move. Okay, there are no other comments. All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, we are adjourned. I'll see you next month on television here or whatever. Okay. Now I gotta figure out how to turn this off, okay?
Well, I'm just going to disconnect everybody. How's that?
Okay.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah,
Good
now,
night.
Bruce, one more thing.
Goodbye.
I want to have the makeup, I want to get the makeup artist that did you, okay? I think that'd be fair to everybody. You know, we want to do over too, just like you.
Pauline, I want to see your cat. You're holding the cat out of the screen.
Oh, he ran into the other room now. Do you want me to grab him?
Come up for a while.
I'm gonna bring my dog. Or maybe I'll bring a horse in. I don't know if I can.
And then she puts a nice painting in the background or something.
That's Germany.
He took off running.
Swimming pool.
That's from my home. That's from my hometown in Germany.
Is it? Is that what it looks like?
Well,
I'll
in the
change
town I was
that.
born, it looks like that. Yeah.
I'll change it up for next month, okay?
Okay.
Okay, goodbye. I gotta ride my motorcycle home. It's getting cold.
Goodbye.
Okay. Okay. See you guys.
Bye.
Good meeting.